Welcome to Zadar. At this point, we know nothing about the city. We have been here for a few days, but we've gone out of town to do some things, and we spent one day ignoring the city and just being people for a moment. So, this is where we've been staying. Seriously, this is where we've been staying. Like, that's part of the building. But we're actually staying in a lovely Croatian apartment, and we're gonna go upstairs to it now. I think the walkthrough is actually kind of interesting because this does not look homely at all. And I booked a place through Airbnb, $35-ish a day, which is pretty good. In a major city that has a tourist draw. Zadar does have a tourist draw for sure. Not as big as other places, but one nonetheless. So you can expect to have the price be a little bit higher. We keep living up here. It's different everywhere we stay.
I was gonna see if you were gonna walk in that person's apartment.
Oh, the door wasn't the right color, so thank goodness for that. Over here, we always get more keys than what we know to do with Airbnb. That I don't understand. So I'm gonna try out the keys right now. Oh, I'm in. It smells like pizza. Can officially say the outside does not match the inside. And I can say that yesterday I came home because this feels like home. It's just comfortable and excessively clean. Wherever we live, Eric is excessively clean. So this feels like how Eric would treat a place. And there's nothing super incredible about it. It's just so livable. Oh my God, livable. So it's just a living room and...
Yo, I think this is the nicest Airbnb I've ever seen. Like, real talk. It is so clean and it really feels like you're home. Like,
I booked this place for this bed.
Oh, okay.
And I told the lady, this is why I booked it. It's so comfortable and you could just tell from the picture. I don't even know how you could tell from the picture, but I knew. And I was between this and one other place, and I was like, I want that bed. I got that bed.
It's a little odd that there's a couch in the bedroom.
Yeah.
What did you say that was for? Spectators?
Spectators. I'm gonna watch you. Take some notes. And then there's a shower. That's a bit of a tiny bathroom, but you've got all the space that you need to do the things that you need to do, plus a washing machine, which always makes me happy. Clean clothes.
Dude, the microwave. Show the microwave.
Oh yeah.
This is
you
weird.
mean the toaster?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is that what it is? The toaster oven?
This some appliance I've never seen. Gotta take the stuff off the top of it. We get comfortable. Like, we make it how we want it to be. So obviously you've got your toaster. That's just kind of, I could sort out how this works. But on top, you have your heating, like your stove. So this is essentially a stove. I am blown away by that. I've never seen this. Very, very randomly cool. It seems like they would go together. Like, they match and it makes sense. Put two heat pots together.
Make things warm.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Of other note, this place has got, without even like a doubt, the fastest internet in Europe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had these couple of really big videos to upload and they were like, no problem, really fast. So it's been amazing. And for the price,
I've contemplated not leaving for a little while.
yeah, I would like to live here. It's amazing in this place. And it is super duper close. Like it's like a 5-minute walk to the ocean. And then like a 5-minute walk a little bit further than that, like 5 minutes to the ocean, 5 more minutes. And you're in like this old towny area that's like this beautiful like castle-y area.
I have instinctually told myself not to go there yet.
Yeah.
So I want it to blow my mind. Well, we slipped in to get some
some not good food briefly, but that was but yeah. The location is amazing and the price is amazing, and yeah, it's very, very nice.
You should hope that I wake up tomorrow to film stuff. I might just stay in that bed. I'm not even joking. Oh. Good morning. We have an amendment to our apartment tour that we did last night, and that's to introduce the washing machine. As with all the appliances that come in a new apartment or at somebody's house, you have to learn how to use them and understand them. But when they're not around, that becomes kind of difficult. I have read a lot of manuals about toasters and water heaters and washing machines, lots of washing machines, because they come with just squiggles. It's just squiggles on here. What do you think this is? It's wool. What does that squiggle mean? That means wool. Good kanjis. So I've had to go online and find a lot of these manuals, and most of them are in English, so that's pretty good. This machine surprised me. First off, it looks like a freezer. It does not look like if you took this out, it just looks like a freezer. I've never seen a washing machine that opens without like a circle here. And there's a reason for that. It opens, and this is really bothersome. It just falls down. You bitch. You absolute bitch. Seriously, I've been fighting that so much that I've had to like figure out leverage, and now that I'm making a video, it's like, I'm on YouTube, I better be good. I hate you. You open it and you look inside, and I just see this medieval contraption that looks like it's gonna tear off my skin. It looks like a cheese grater, but inside of a washing machine. And then you'll see this little gray button here. You push that. That releases a door and another door. And that opens your cylinder that's happening in the middle. I think that's what we would call that. I'm not sure. It opens the compartment where the clothes go in. And I've already put our clothes inside. I've never seen that.
So that's like that whole thing spins when you close the door?
The whole thing spins like the newer models of washing machines. But what they've done is made it so that it's a little more, you can put it this way. I guess they could have put a door here, but you wouldn't be able to open it in this spot.
It's weird. It's like designed for this room.
It's like it's designed for this room. So we've put our clothes in there, and that's all great. You lock that up again. Cheese grater. It's real weird. One nice thing is that most places that have a washing machine, Airbnb-wise, they provide you with a laundry detergent. I carry my own because I had to buy it once, and now I have a gigantic box of stuff. But here, they've provided us with the good stuff. And this is where things start to get tricky. We don't have these things in America. We don't have these slots. And these slots will come on European washing machines. Usually here you'll pull out a tray. So all the Europeans who are watching this understand that tray. I did not understand this tray. This slot is for a pre-wash if you want to do a pre-wash. This slot is for your regular wash, and this slot is for your fabric softener. This measurement is saying if you want to use liquid detergent, and this measurement is if you want to use powder detergent. Okay, I figured all that out after being coached. I did not have to read the manual for that one. We put our laundry detergent in. Boop. And now the inside of the machine, we're done dealing with that. It honestly is the outside of the machine that is harder. Okay. From what I've learned about washing machines, there will always be a problem. Always. And this one was a special one. I was shocked. But I was really happy when I first started because I saw this 30-minute. I was like, dang, son, we're gonna get this done in 30 minutes. Because the last time I used a washing machine, I started and I was like, oh, it'll probably be about 1 hour and 15 minutes. 2.5 hours later, my clothes are still wet. What? And you're laughing, but I was pissed off. I was so pissed. So I was really excited about this 30-minute. And yesterday, I turned it and I set it to the 30-minute. It turns on, it tells you the door is unlocked and ready for you to do whatever you want. I turned it on and I let it go. And I started watching an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. And I was like, oh, so when Malcolm in the Middle is over, it will be finished. Malcolm in the Middle finished. It was not done. I came in here, we'd only gotten to the regular wash. I didn't even notice that it had done the pre-wash. So half an hour in and we're still doing number 2. I'm not gonna go down the whole road. I'm gonna tell you what I figured out. When you push this into this slot, everything turns off. But it shouldn't. The off button should be here. This dial has been put in upside down. I'm not even frickin' joking. So if you want the 30-minute, you have to go to the other end and get in the middle and tilt it to here. Now that's in 30-minute.
How is that possible?
How did I figure it out? Why did I have to sit here for an hour trying to figure this out last night? And when I set it to the 30-minute one, that meant it was doing the 95 degrees pre-wash cotton. This means cotton. That means that it was doing this. And I looked in the manual and the manual was like, that's gonna take 2.5 hours. What? What? I was so angry. And then I started fiddling around with it.
Is it just that this knob maybe is wrong? Like, can you pull the knob off?
No. It's that the slots, the disc underneath that tells it the information has been inserted incorrectly.
All right.
Wow. And this is washing machines pretty much everywhere we go, and we tend to stay like.
Not this problem, but they're always a problem.
There's always something I have to understand more than just go. So yeah, we're gonna try for 30 minutes here, and hopefully we don't have to make an update video where I say, "Freaking washer." So here we go. And I noticed this button. Okay, we're in. Okay, and we're starting on the regular wash. This is good news. I'm excited. Maps, fun. Just gonna sum up our current, what we've done since we've been here in Croatia. We arrived in Zagreb. We got a rental car. Took that rental car over into this area and a little bit down here and all the way into here. Got some wine in this little area. And then we came back, cruising all the way along, slept here. And then we cruised a little bit more to Rijeka, and we stayed close to Rijeka. And from there, we shot out to different parts of the peninsula in Istra over here, and we went to the Kirk Island. And then from Rijeka, we returned the car in Zagreb, and then we took a bus from Zagreb down to Zadar. And that's where we are now. Future plans are to go down to Split and also to Dubrovnik. But we're here. Zadar.
Zadar is a little coastal city, and it is actually the 5th most populous city in Croatia, but that doesn't mean it's a huge metropolis. It's still a fairly manageable sized little town. And the touristy bit of it, it sticks out on this little peninsula that goes out into the ocean. And they have been inhabiting this area for a really long time. Wikipedia says Stone Age time people have lived here. And there's been Romans that have lived here, and there's that kind of influence, and then Croatian people, and then the Crusades happened, and there's a lot of history that took place just in this area, just because it's kind of like a crossroads in Europe. So the peninsula area is the historic area, and it's also the touristy area, which tends to go hand in hand, and it is surrounded by kind of a wall that I guess was probably used for protection back in the day, and now just looks awesome. And this is one of the gates that goes into it. And we are on the end of the peninsula that is against the rest of the land, the mainland. And we're gonna walk through the area and check out, see what it's got, and hopefully pop out the other side of it this evening to enjoy the sunset, because I think we'll have a pretty good view of it from that area.
Just walking through one of the squares here, there are these big glass panels on the ground that let you see underground what might have been back in the day. I'm assuming it is what was back in the day, and it's kind of scary to walk on them. I instinctually walked around it the first time that I saw it, and I think this is just showing what you would have seen. This area is supposed to be all about wells, and I don't really see any wells underneath there, but I certainly do see that there's some ancient stuff down there.
There's just a little more flex in this glass than I'm comfortable with. The streets here are so old that the stone is really, really smooth. And I mean, I know I've just got like, you know, some flip-flops on and they don't got no grip, but like, it's like ice sliding around on here. I'm gonna break my ass.
We're standing in what's called People's Square, and I was telling Eric that we didn't really have like one of these in our lives at any point in time. There was never a huge area where people went and important things happened, and it was just a communal area for a large group of people. And here in People's Square, there's a couple of important buildings. This one over here, the City Guard, and over on the other side, there is what's called the Logia. And I'm kind of fascinated with these things because they do things in a public way back in the day that we don't do. We put things in newspapers, we put things on the internet, and it all just turns into nothing that anyone listens to. But people used to come to this court and someone would stand at this door and they would tell them like, we're changing the law, or this guy's going to prison, or we're killing this person later. Like tons and tons of proclamations would be made from this area in the 1500s, and people would just be out here waiting to hear it, so excited about it. And now like you get an alert on from like your CNN news feed and you just like delete. Nobody cares because it's just not interesting, or there's just so much information out there. People back in the day got excited. We're going to People's Square. We're going to hear what they have to say. We're going to drink some food and watch some people. It's, I don't know. I kind of wished we could time travel really quickly right now.
Drink some food.
Look, I blend it all up.
The main stretch of this little town is just like tourist stuffs.
Yep.
It's like expensive clothing shops and like a ton of ice cream shops.
Liquor.
Which the ice cream shops are okay. We're going there.
The liquor shop's also good.
And there are just, you know, tourist stuffs is what's going on. We stopped and we looked at a place. When we look at clothing, like women's clothing stuff, I like to stop and be like, Katie, you would look great in this outfit. We should buy this outfit. And then we look at the price of these outfits. This outfit was how many monies? Like $550?
$551 for this outfit.
Yeah, that's way more money we're going to spend on an outfit. That's the kind of stuff that they got going on up in here. So we stepped off the main drag, and now we're kind of just walking around the little back alleys, which is mostly little restaurants and cafes, which
and
I think
Waldo lookalikes.
this guy looks like our friend Waldo hardcore. And I think this is a trade up from the tourist stuff and the clothes we can't afford.
Yeah, it's food that we're not going to buy.
Well, we're not hungry right now, but we might get some later.
What are you talking about?
You hungry?
Always.
Let's go hit one of those gelato shops then.
All right.
We've wandered into a 12th century church, and the feel that I get from this church is like you go into your grandmother's house and you see all these different things from different decades that she's gathered, and none of them really fit together. They're just kind of hodgepodge grandma type stuff. We've noticed that here as the centuries have rolled on, more things have just been put in here that don't necessarily match the situation, but they're there, including some greenery, which we never really see plants inside churches. But what caught my eye a little bit more was this skull and crossbones. And we learned that I'm not sure when they were doing this, but the skull and crossbones was a common thing to put onto headstones or graves of this sort. So this is not the first time we've seen it, but it's something that's definitely common, and we saw it several times throughout this church. And that seems strange. Very strange.
You're like,
why?
I'm thinking pirates and they're thinking churches.
Yeah, strange.
What was that?
Nothing.
There's a huge church. I guess it's attached to the church we went into in a way. It's right next to it, but it's a big bell tower that is the highest.
And when I called the information place, they were like, the Cathedral's bell tower? And I was like, yeah.
Okay, so it is
yeah,
connected?
It is.
Okay, and it is the highest point in the old town here of Zadar. And it's really cool. You can pay like $2 or whatever to climb all the way up to the top of it. And when you go up, it's a spiral staircase of different materials. Like it's a stone one and then like metal and stuff. And as you're going up, you eventually pass like the bells that are inside of the bell tower. And they're huge. And like you're thinking, are those going to go off? Because it might kill me.
It kind of is a little terrifying. And once we got to the top, I was like, man, I really want to know if they're going to go off. And because we're about a half an hour away from 5 o'clock, which could be the time that bells have. We don't know about church bells, but so I called the information from the top of the tower, like tourist information.
When are they going off?
Are they going to go off? But they won't go off until Sunday, and it's Thursday now.
So we're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could be. I think it might be dangerous with how like big they are to be up here. I
could imagine that maybe they close this down. The only time they do the bells is for mass. So
maybe during that time you can't climb up in the tower.
I think that could be true.
But regardless, from up here you get a really awesome view of this little city, and it's really cool because I think geographically the way that this little city is shaped is awesome, how it sits on this peninsula. Because if you look off one side, you can simply, very easily see both sides of the city. And you've been scurrying around down in there in like a little ant, inside of this thing, and it feels really big. But when you come up here and look at it from above, you can just be like, okay, it's like
one
really
street,
not,
2 street, 3 street, finished.
It's really not that big. But as you wander back and forth inside of the streets out while you're down on the ground, you can get kind of lost in a nest a little bit. So it's hard to really grasp the size of it. So just coming up here and for the couple of bucks and everything, like absolutely worth it. Like really cool
highly recommend.
Tower. Yeah, highly recommended.
And
Sold.
it was highly recommended to us.
And we are recommended highly right now because we are very tall.
Yeah.
Did that work? That didn't really work. I tried to find a thing.
But you're tall, so I was like, yes, it is true. You know all about all the tall things. Another highly recommended place was Donat.
This was the only thing we knew about Zagreb before we came here.
We're not in Zagreb.
We're not in Zagreb.
Zadar.
I knew I would do it. Damn it, Zadar. Yeah, we met some dudes in Zagreb, and they were like, "Yo, our family used to have a beach house or something down in this area. So in the summers, we would just hang out in Zadar." And we were like, "Well, what should we do?" And they were like, "Come to this place and get some ice cream." And it happens to be right next to the church that was with the bell tower and everything. Like it's all in the same little area. So we were like, "Oh, okay, that's gonna be really easy to do." So we busted up and got some ice cream.
Phil and Jake, you'll be happy to know it's still open.
Oh yeah, they were like, we don't know if it'll still be there. It is definitely still here. And what happened here? What do you got? How'd you get a big spoon?
You get the spoon that you don't use my coffee spoon. What was I gonna say? I totally forgot.
I don't know, man. This is getting melty though.
Yeah, it's definitely getting melty.
It's hard to make a video about this.
You were shooting it, and I'm just sitting here like waiting. Ice cream is melting. Ice cream is melting. I heard that the quality is good, but what we were talking about in the conversation that we were having was about childhood and how food during childhood is just kind of, doesn't really matter, but as you get older, it gets more important.
But when you're a kid, childhood matters.
Does it live up to the adult standards that the childhood fantasy would give you? I'm in Rumtown, man. That's all you. What?
Okay.
It's definitely very smooth.
I love rum flavored everything.
It feels more like ice cream to me than it does gelato.
Absolutely.
But it says ice cream right there, so maybe it's ice cream. They do have gelato as well on the sign, but I'm getting a much bigger ice cream vibe.
Really good. Yeah, it's a little bit like the texture is not gelato-y, but again, it's not supposed to be. I can get down on that. Oh, dude, rum flavored stuff.
I just got some strawberry. Okay, it's good.
Good, it's
I don't
pretty
think we
good ice
really
cream.
need to go very far.
Yeah, it's a good ice cream sundae. Like we mentioned earlier, this city has been inhabited for a very, very long time, and part of that time it was inhabited by Romans. And there's actually little spots all over the city that have got like old school Roman stuff happening. And a lot of it has kind of fallen into disrepair or has been just destroyed by time. And I mean, that is to be expected. It's been like 2,000 years. But there are a few things that are still intact or still identifiable. And a couple of them are in this little area. And first off, the first thing I'm gonna mention is these 3 altars that are here. And they actually have the faces of Jupiter and Medusa and another guy. And we don't know, we don't know other guy. But I mean, that's like, those things, like, you know, Medusa, you know what I mean? You know, like Jupiter, like these things, and you've read about them, all these stories and stuff, and like, this was put here by people who were like, that's our dudes, and it's just kind of hard to wrap your mind around that is this old. And in the top of each one of these, there's like these little carved out areas, and apparently it was used for sacrifices, and the blood would pour into them. I don't see exactly how that works, but it's an interesting story. And over here, this direction, there's a huge pack of like middle schoolers coming, kind of distracted. Over here, this is a column that is the only existing Roman column that's left here. And during the Middle Ages, so long after the Romans had peaced out, these kids are really distracting. Back in the Middle Ages, they were using this for public humiliation. So if somebody did something wrong or whatever, they would strap them to the side of this thing, and you can actually see the metal that they would have been strapped to. I mean, you'd be like out in the sun, like rotting on this giant pillar. I can't believe that exists either, and that you can still see these metal pieces, and you can see where over the years and years and years the metal pieces have been there, they've eaten away at the rock. You can see time, in a sense, through something like that. And I find that really fascinating. Do you think that the dude that was carving that Jupiter statue ever thought that there'd be so many people eating ice cream up in this village?
No, I don't think he even knew about like the cone. Were they doing the cone back then? Did they know about did they have frosty snacks then? What was the standard of frosty snack back then? Because if he didn't even, could he even dream of the ice cream cone?
Did they have cows?
I don't know.
The bell tower's going off now, and it ain't Sunday.
No, it is not Sunday, but I am straight happy that I'm not up there for real.
It's quite loud here.
Yeah. It's not more ice cream, seriously. It's not. But we had a bottle of wine that I've been carrying around with me all day. Maybe you've seen it in other
poking out
moments.
of your bag.
And we had nothing to put it in, so I went back to the ice cream shop and I asked them if we could have some cups of their...
So we're just a couple of classy gals.
Yeah, really classy.
And we said at the beginning of the day, like, we were going to make it down to the tip of the little island, the little peninsula, and we've made it. And we're going to enjoy some sunsetage and some pizza-age and some...
Kujevo.
Is that what it is? How you say it?
Wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What are we doing this to?
To Zadar.
Zadar. Very good. I guess. I don't know. I don't know nothing about wine, but
it didn't hurt.
No, it didn't hurt.
Yeah. So, pretty good. I don't know what this instrument is that, oh, it's called the sea organ. I was going to call it the sea harmonica, but it's the sea organ. Zadar has this amazing instrument that's been installed into some stairs that are very close to where we're sitting, and a boat has gone by. The boat causes these waves and ripples in the water, and those hit the stairs where the water goes in, and the air that is forced out of the pipes or whatever's going on underneath these stairs makes this crazy sound, and it just sounds like whales. Like I feel like there must be a bunch of whales out there talking to each other right now, since a boat just passed and forced all this air through this instrument. It's really eerie. Before, they were telling campfire stories.
Are we in focus? I think you are out of focus, but I am in focus. That looks great. Like that. All right.
Welcome to the sun salutations. Apparently there is some sort of large...
Wait, is it called sun salutations?
That is what
Really?
it's called, yeah.
Oh, neat.
There's a very large solar digital thing that happens here.
It's a big digital circle that they have, that they've got lights on that like blink and stuff, and you can walk on them, and like kids are running around on them and stuff. And it just shows a bunch of patterns and things. And it's sitting right down here where the sunset spot was, and where we heard all the sounds coming out of the sea organ.
I know the words. I know the key words.
I think we're going to revisit the sea organ tomorrow, so that I can. I tried to make some video of it because I want to talk about it a little more, but it's just way too dark now.
Yeah.
But it's not too dark to video this. So we're doing all right now.
This is beautiful, but I realized as I was walking around, like I started looking at the colors and I was like, oh, those are nice. And then I just watched this baby run around forever. And I was like, it's actually more interesting to watch younger children interpret this.
Yeah.
And to see them run around and enjoy it. So that was surprising to me. I thought I was going to think, oh, wow, it's magnificent. But I mean, it's lights and I understand how electricity works. But they don't get it. That little kid
you think
doesn't
you can build
get
one
it.
of these? You talking
No,
down?
no, I'm not talking down. I'm just saying it's even more fascinating to see someone who just can't put all the pieces together enjoy it.
You talking about me?
Yeah, you.
This is not unique, but every time we come to one of these little like old school towns like this with like cobblestone streets, I'm always blown away by how it is at night. This is really atmospheric, and the way the light looks and everything is really nice, and the way they got that bell tower lit up is really nice. And I don't know, it's just, I like walking around these little cobblestone roads when it's everything's shut down.
There's nobody around.
Oh, you're here.
Yeah, but I'm somebody. At least to you.
It's true. Speaking of cool lighting, they've got a bridge that's lit up pretty cool. It crosses over into the mainland.
Yeah, from peninsula to mainland.
You digging this? You digging this little bridge?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. If the swirl on this bread is any indication of the caliber of this restaurant, it's obvious that we're doing a little bit upscale today. And the swirl in this actually comes from the black is cuttlefish ink. The brown part is kind of like a whole grain, and then there's a regular white bread on the outside. This is kind of an insane bread. I've never seen anything like this. It tastes like bread. Just regular bread. Along the cuttlefish lines, not only it is in their bread, but it's also in the dish that I've ordered. And we came to this restaurant because it is kind of known for doing Dalmatian food, and we're in the Dalmatian region. And cuttlefish and other Adriatic animals are popular for eating. For some reason when I say the word animal and eating, that feels weird. But the cuttlefish is what I've gone with, and I've never eaten cuttlefish, nor have I really had this like black ink food before. So I'm gonna give that a try. You can see the cuttlefish in there. It has a tang to it at the beginning that I wasn't expecting at all, but a creaminess that is quite nice. I would say not offensive in any way, not fishy. This is Eric okay. He could eat the grains, but he couldn't eat the cuttlefish. The texture of it I don't think is something you'll be okay with. And as you can see, I've gone kind of scary and crazy as usual, and Eric has gone with the ravioli.
Katie's ripping on me here for ordering ravioli like it's something normal, but the reason that I got it is because we went truffle hunting recently, and when we were out in the forest looking for truffles, we found asparagus. And right now, this place has got a menu that's like asparagus-based stuffs, and I saw asparagus-based ravioli, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get down on that. And I'm gonna throw out some real talk here, like, this is probably the most expensive meal that we've had since we've been in Croatia, and it's not like ridiculously expensive or anything, but like, this is the thing about expensive restaurants. You roll on here and like, this really isn't that much like quantity of food for the price that you pay. And that's just how I feel about these types of restaurants. Maybe it's gonna be amazing, I haven't gotten into it yet, but I am a little surprised that I'm gonna spend this much money, and because I also didn't order an expensive starter and get an expensive dessert and an expensive drink and everything, I might leave hungry. So that's just me talking real talk. Let's get in here though.
How much are you spending on this?
It was 95 kuna. So
just like over $15.
Yeah, like for this area of the world, this is quite an expensive digs. But anyway, you got to experience things sometimes, and I got drawn in by the asparagus. I'm assuming this is like an asparagus-based sauce or something on top, but I don't know exactly. And the inside of it is green as well. It's really good. The texture of the skin is actually, if it's cooked very little. Obviously, it's not crunching, so it has to be cooked at some level. But it's actually a bit hard. But the flavor of everything on the inside and everything, the cheese is really good inside. It's quite good. Don't know if it's $15 good, but it's a pretty good meal. Last night we were drinking some wine and things got a little carried away, and we weren't able to talk about the sea organ quite as much as I wanted to because the sun went down. So we've come back over here, and there's a lot of sun right now, like burning me. And it's a really cool thing. It's like an art thing that they've installed here. And the way that it works is that the waves are coming in from the sea, and they're pushing themselves into a pipe, kind of like a pipe organ or something that's built underneath these steps. And then the sound comes out of these little slots that are here. And it's music, but it's just like nature making sounds through a thing people have made. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful way of making something that's artistic, and is something that's really interesting and kind of like sparks curiosity in everybody that walks by. And it's a pretty big thing. They've got it built along this boardwalkish area, and the way that you generate different tones with it is by extending the length of the pipe. And you can actually see how this is staggered. How further down it's just one step, and then it's 2 steps, and then where I'm standing there's 3 steps. So the pipes are actually getting longer as they go in, and this actually goes to 4, 5, 6, and 7 different steps. Maybe 8, I can't tell. That would make sense because you get a whole octave out of it. But yeah, I mean, so as you sit here, the pitch is a little bit higher, and compared to when you go down, it gets lower. And it actually takes more waves to make the further down, lower pitched ones with a longer pipe to even make any sound. So when a boat goes by, you get this like, oh, as all of them go off. But if there's nothing else going by and there's not a lot of wind, the only ones that are making any active sound are the shorter pipes. I'm super impressed with this. Just as we were getting ready to leave, a boat went by and lit up all the low end. It's pretty cool. You said you could actually feel it through the ground?
Yeah, I could feel it as I was standing there, vibrating the ground.
I don't know, this might be one of the coolest instrument things that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, this is like on par with like a huge church with a gigantic organ in it, like it's built into the whole building and everything. I'm really into this. This is really cool. I think if I lived around here, I'd come down here and just like drink wine and eat pizza more often.
Yeah, and the randomness to me is really intriguing. It's not going, and like it's very cool in how it works, and I'm not going to go too far into it, but it's random but not random, and that's kind of cool.
And there's not like a set rhythm or anything, but there is a rhythm because the ocean has a rhythm, and you can hear it and experience the rhythm of the ocean in a way that is not typical.
Yeah.
Then there's just something absolutely beautiful about it.
It is pretty hot outside. And we went down to the sea organ, and we just stood in the sun like shooting stuff, and that was pretty hot. And we decided to walk back to our place,
which we love.
Yeah, which we were just coming to get my laptop and to go to a cafe, and then we realized it costs, you didn't probably think about this, but I was like, well, it's going to cost money to go to a cafe, and I could just sit here in this really nice apartment that I've already paid for.
Yeah.
So maybe I should do that. And so I went to the grocery store after Eric had said that he wanted some sort of not sweet treat. And I found these in the bread area. Kind of seem like tortilla-esque, but hard.
Is it crunchy?
Oh, it's crunchy.
Oh, it's a crunchy bread. Man. Can I snap that one?
Harder than expected.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I think that was a tooth.
Well, crack it before you stack it, I would say.
Okay.
Got some apples because you had told me to get an apple. And then I also went over, they have like a meat counter there, and I bought this by the kilo.
It's like salami.
Yeah, the amount of meat that we got is...
Is this all of the meat?
That's all of the
We've
meat.
got a spread here. And I'm feeling very continental. I'm feeling very European at the moment with this spread of cheeses and fruits and meats.
Cheese, meat, and fruit.
Yeah.
And hard to eat bread that I bought. Wow. And like the meat was only 3 kuna, which is less than $1 for this amount.
Oh, okay.
I felt very proud of myself to go there and just buy it from the lady behind the counter.
Instead of the package.
The deli instead of the package. But another thing that we did today is I've been looking for Pag cheese, and Pag cheese comes from Pag Island. And I'm sure you could go over to Pag Island and you could get this cheese, but we're not going to Pag Island. That's not the...
It's not on the cards.
That's not the path. And so we went to a market today that I read, you should be able to get some Pag cheese there, and met this really nice guy who just would answer all of my questions about cheese. And got the Pag cheese, and he explained to me that the sheep in Pag have kind of a special diet because there is so much like sea salt in the air that coats the grass, and the sheep eat this, and it actually changes the way that their milk tastes, which makes sense.
They got a high sodium diet.
Yeah, they got a high sodium diet. We're about to enjoy that. And then on top of that, like the way that they make it is a very natural way to make cheese, as opposed to a big production line. They just heat the cheese up to 45 degrees and then leave it there for a while.
So it's a sheep's cheese.
It is a sheep's cheese.
And we've got some little slices here.
I slice these myself.
Yeah, you did. I saw you cutting it.
Yeah.
And
I cut the cheese. I've been waiting all day.
It's got a pretty strong smell.
It's super strong.
Yeah,
it says it's a hard cheese, so it's not a soft cheese.
It's a lot softer than that bread.
That's true. Really good flavor.
I think it's pretty soft. I guess I don't know how to like properly define cheese.
Think about soft cheese as like cream cheese.
Okay.
That's soft. This is more of a...
It kind of could just like, if you move it around your mouth, it sort of falls apart.
This is the crust to it, and I was wondering if you could eat that.
It's still softer than the bread.
You can eat that. It's really good.
It's good. It's not an overwhelmingly strong flavor. It's not like ripping things apart.
I would say that it is a strong flavor.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I think of a strong cheese like a cheese where you'd eat it like
blue cheese or gorgonzola or something like that.
To me,
yeah.
this is pretty it's not. I wouldn't say it's mild, but I would say that it's somewhere in the middle, like really dancing between the two. Like I don't find it to be a really strong offensive cheese.
I think it's a strong standard cheese. Whereas like blue cheese or gorgonzola is going to be like it has this extra spice to it. Like if you got some sort of jalapeno cheese or something, there's like an additive to it. This is like straight cheese, but it's straight cheese with pow. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're gonna do some stacking of these.
So tomorrow morning we're gonna be piecing out of here.
Yeah, we have to leave our nice apartment.
It's really the biggest bummer ever. How'd you enjoy this town?
I can't hear you over the crunching. What?
How did you enjoy this town?
Zadar is pretty awesome, and we had kind of heard that from people. It's not super touristed.
But there's tourists, for sure.
Definitely tourists, but it actually has draw in ways that you wouldn't expect, like the sea organ and the sun salutation. Like, there's draw outside of, there's some ancient stuff here.
Even though there's a bunch of, like, tourist, like, shops and everything here, I feel like it's not gaudy, which is something I feel like I've said a lot about Europe. And I think that maybe I'm just used to American tourist places turning into gaudy, like, just, you know, not nice places to be. But they somehow are maintaining, like, I felt the same way about Venice, where even though it was flooded with tourists and it had a lot of tourist infrastructure, it still maintained a classiness to itself. And I feel like this is fairly similar.
Yeah.
It's on a much smaller scale than Venice, especially tourism. But, I mean, it's still, like, a nice place to just hang out. And if, like, we had a month to kill or something, I could easily kill it, especially if we were staying in this apartment.
I could kill it in this apartment, not in this city.
We might get bored of food.
We're already bored of food.
we might get bored of food.
We're making our own fika at home.
Yeah, that's true. We're gonna bust up into some crunchy bread.
Oh, you already stacked? Dang it.
Am I supposed to wait?
No, go ahead. You weren't supposed to wait. I just was very slow.
Well, I can hook you up here. Look it. Boom.
Yep.
Boom. Stacked.
But what about the apple?
Oh, you're doing. I'm just gonna go like this. All right.
I'm going the whole thing.
To Zadar.
We already did to Zadar. So to pag cheese.
To pag cheese. To these high sodium sheep.
Oh yeah. Fuck's this snowflake mean? Some sort of asterisk about washing clothes. Hold on, we just wanted to let you know this is gonna take 4 hours. Stupid.
Zadar, right? Zagreb keeps getting. I try to put a G into it sometimes, and this is not.
Like some crazy.
Do you want me to spin it for you? Dun 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 dun. It's a real dog.
We just started a Discord server to hang out with everyone on. If you're into Discord or friendship, check out the link below. As always, thanks to everyone at Patreon for supporting our video project. Without it, we wouldn't be able to make videos for everyone. If you'd like to help us make more videos, check out the link to Patreon on screen or down below. More Croatia is on the way.